We'll be starting the call in one more minute.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello, we'll be starting in about 30 seconds. Okay, it is 6:30 p.m. in California. Good evening, everybody. Good evening and welcome to the call. I am muting everybody's phones.
You are now muted.
So you're currently muted. So welcome, everybody. Welcome to our monthly coaching conference call entitled Complete Satisfaction. I'm Thomas Kuster, writer, trainer, and coach. Thank you for being on the call. Included on this call are participants of the Date Night Project, participants in the current workshop, clients, and then there's those of you who choose to participate simply on the calls. Welcome, and thank all of you for being here. Now, for those of you who were on last month, I asked you to practice listening with all of you. A proactive kind of listening that provides profound satisfaction to the speaker. But as you were to notice in your practice, a profound satisfaction to you, the listener. Now, not all of you were on that call, and that won't impact this call in any way. But I am going to introduce you again, all of you, to listening with all of you. So when your partner or anybody close to you is speaking to you, whether they're telling you a story, lodging a complaint, or sharing a feeling or an emotion, give your undivided attention. Listen with all of you, with your ears, with your heart, with your skin, with your breath. Pay attention so completely that everything else disappears. And don't just listen to the words, but listen to the mysterious presence from which those words arise. Listen to the sound of the voice, to the inflections. Listen to the silence between the words. Listen to what was not said, but can still be sensed. In giving all your attention, in giving your absolute attention, listen with all of you. Become the beloved for which the heart has always longed. Be available in this way for as long as practical. Then give love and acceptance and move on with your day. Whenever you're able to listen, listen with all of you. So I'm going to ask you all just to take a moment, and I want you to reflect on this past week. And just think back over the week to interactions and communications that you've had with people who are important to you. And notice for yourself the times when you actually did listen with all of you, and what was the outcome of that. Or times that you might have wanted to practice but didn't, and take a look at what might have gotten in the way. And for those of you new to this call, who weren't on, and this is the first time hearing about listening with all of you, I'd be open to hear anything that you might want to put into the conversation. So please take 1 minute. I'm going to time it now, and then we're going to open the line to take some sharing.
You are now unmuted.
Okay, I have unmuted the lines. Very interested in hearing from you. And I want to also mention that you may share anything around complete satisfaction or anything that you're dealing with that could fit into the conversation at all. So I don't want you to feel trapped by the questions that I ask. This is an open conversation designed for coaching and interaction. So just say your first name and I'll call on you. Who'd like to step up?
Charlie.
Charlie, baby. Good afternoon. Thank you for stepping in there, my friend.
Hi, Thomas.
Hi.
I didn't practice it every day, but I did practice listening. And I recognize I probably didn't do it in totality, but I did practice it.
Sure.
And but really what I'm present to, and I hadn't considered it until you mentioned it this evening, was a sense of satisfaction.
Good.
Being really present for them and listening to them, and giving my listening completely. And I don't remember, thinking, okay, I'm going to listen with my skin and listen with my heart, but just being as present as I could.
Right.
But yeah, it's a great experience.
Well, one of the things I'd say about what you just shared is I notice for myself, I don't necessarily stop and think it through like, okay, Tom, listen with your ears, listen with your heart. Don't necessarily think that through. I think that there is a kind of encompassing when you said, I gave my undivided attention, and maybe what happens is these things fall into place a little bit. Or maybe what we'll find this month as we continue the practice is we may find that we get more and more natural with listening with all of us and notice things we didn't notice before. But thank you for taking it on at whatever level you did. I appreciate it, and thank you for stepping in and sharing, Charlie. Thanks for breaking the ice.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Very good. Somebody else? So it's going to be a quiet evening, I see. Okay,
Thomas,
very good. Yeah.
Charlie, can I add something?
Absolutely.
The other thing I was present to is, and I don't know if I'm going to articulate this correctly, but it's like everything else disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
And a real sense of quietness.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's, in fact, when I distinguish it, it says, listen with all of you, with your ears, your heart, your skin, and your breath. Pay attention so completely that everything else disappears. Really great. Thanks, Charlie. You're the best. I am going to mute the lines.
You are now muted.
And for any of you on the call, I'm sure you can connect to any kind of communication you've had over the past week. And then there's some of you who were on last month, and you're thinking, oh, shoot, I forgot all about that. So now's a good opportunity to put it in existence. And as we continue the conversations around satisfaction, these conversations will start to reveal that without knowing what you're here for, In other words, what your life is really about, then you and I will continually grasp for satisfaction, and that will always be in the forefront. Now, here's something that's amazing. Just take a look at your life. As it is right now, everything is pointing to some purpose. Everything you've ever done that's inspired you is pointing in that direction. All of the things you do, all of the things you think about are pointing in that direction. The things that fill your time, your energy, your space, the things that you're focused on, the things that you set as goals. Just notice there's a common theme. Now think about this for just a few seconds. All these things that inspire you, things you think about, things that fill your time, energy, space, and things you're focused on, there's a common theme. Take a peek and see if you just notice a theme. Nothing you're going to have to say immediately, but just notice for yourself. Thank you. There is a common theme to all of them, and they all revolve around your highest value and ultimately your life's purpose. Now, as apparent as it sounds, it isn't. For most of us, right in front of our face and still out of reach. But if you really just answer the questions for yourself, where is my energy focused? Where is my time and space focused? You know, this is where listening with all of you as a practice and over time starts to reveal more of yourself to yourself. In their words, in their nonverbal communication, all the communication from others will have you start to authentically know yourself, breaking into a kind of self-awareness. And that begins to uncover a purpose. Your unique gift, your unique contribution to life, that thing that you're here for, that you can accept and express for the rest of your lives. So just try it on. All of us have a reason to be here. Like if all you were doing is going out and trying to achieve goals, and then you achieve them, and I'm sure you've run into this before. It's like this. You say, okay, I've achieved the goal. Now what? Or you get there and your brain says, is this all there is? Now remember, the purpose of a goal is not to achieve it, but what you become that you achieve it. And even with that, there has to be some kind of meaning, something bigger that lights you up. So again, I'm going to give you a moment to think about it. Think about some of the goals you've accomplished and some of the goals you have in place. Take a look right this moment at your aspirations. See what common theme you can uncover, maybe your highest value. Possibly, you might see or have seen your life purpose. And in a moment, I want to give you an opportunity to open up and share about any of that you see or think. So take a moment and think this through and make a few notes for yourself.
You are now unmuted.
Okay, very good. I've got somebody's on a speakerphone from the phone. Thank you. So who would like to share anything about what you see regarding your life purpose, your highest value? Listen, this isn't about getting anything right. This is just about communicating and opening a dialogue. Just say your first name, and I'll call on you.
Jean.
Yes, Jean. Good evening.
Hello. You know, I'm just going to say that I feel like I'm not seeing anything.
Well, good for you.
I'm just going to be really honest, but rather than just being quiet over here, and I feel blanked.
Yeah, got it. Well, tell me this: is there anything on your mind at all, pertaining or not pertaining? That is, because you already told me there's nothing on my mind pertaining to this. So my question is there something on your mind pertaining to anything else?
Well, what comes up for me,
doesn't have to.
Yes. What comes up for me is I feel like I'm in flux. I feel like there's major things that are changing inside of me, and it's really altering. It may be altering my life purpose from what I thought it was before to where it's going.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, so that's kind of that's what's up right now. And so you're asking, and I'm like, I'm not grabbing anything.
Yeah, that's really good though what you're saying. So, would it be fair to say that you have dropped any resistance to the flux, and that you're able to be with it, and that maybe what's there for you right now is just really the open space for things to show up that matter to you, and that may show up as your life purpose at some point?
Yes, I think that's probably true.
Yeah, because one thing that I do know about you is that you have taken on seriously dissolving and removing resistance from your life. That much I know for sure.
Yeah.
And I know for myself, being in that same practice, I have lots of moments that I'm free from thinking, and I never thought that was possible before. And that's without doing intense meditation. I mean, that's just regular daily activities. I find myself with more gaps, if you will, between one thought and the next. And I'm really appreciating that. It sounds like you might be too.
I am. And, I just have to say, too, that the slow down exercise has been so cool. It's been, and I even started it before we got off on the webinar last weekend. I just immediately started everything I did with my arm and my hands, even to pick up the phone, and I've been doing it a lot, and it's just very cool to get present to thoughts and feelings that are going on in that moment, what's really happening with what part of my body, just to be really present.
Yes.
And I think from my history, it's something that it's a perfect practice for me. I think it's perfect practice for anybody, but I know for me, because there's a part of me that I feel disconnected from my body. So people say, how are you feeling? What are your feelings? What are those sensations? And I have to really work hard to check in, what? Because I have really closed off myself because of, men stuff that I'm dealing with.
Sure.
So it's been an awesome practice, and I'll just do it all of a sudden. I'll go, slow down, whatever I'm doing, driving, thinking about something. I'll just in the middle of whatever, I'll just slow down so dramatically and intentionally, and I love it. I love it. Good.
Now, given you brought up the practice, and by the way, those of you on the call who aren't in the workshop, the slow down practice was a practice that I gave to the workshop on our last class. you'll get it soon enough in this series, but it won't be today. Is there any connection, Jean, to the listening with all of you practice that you notice? And don't let me throw you a curveball. If it's there, great. If it's not, hey, that's fine too. I just wonder.
You know, it's funny. I have to say there's something, the question that you had us also look at with that, at least I think it's with it, is who's listening, who or what is listening.
Yes.
With all of me, and I get like indignant, like that is a trick question. That is a trick question.
Oh, interesting. All right. Well, you and I have to talk about that more later. Okay. But thank you for sharing and stepping up. I appreciate it, Jean. Really, I do.
Sure.
Anybody else? Say your first name, and I'll call on you. You can bring anything to the call that you like. Okay, my quiet little peeps. I am muting.
You are now muted.
Okay. Now, even though it's a fact that human beings are never satisfied, at least not over time, complete satisfaction is available, though. So, getting access to the unlimited field of potentiality, that's one thing. Reducing contractions, that's number 2. And number 3, practicing being presently aware opens the gateway to what we're really here for. So I'm going to say that again. Complete satisfaction is available, even though human beings are never satisfied, at least not over time. So how do we get access? Well, to get access or open the gateway to revealing our purpose and what we're really here for, like how will my life be used on this planet, one is getting access to the unlimited field of potentiality. Number 2 is reducing contractions. And number 3, practicing being presently aware. So let's investigate number 1, the field of potentiality. In this field, we say anything's possible. This is where the game of life is played. It's the game board or the playing field, if you will. Pure potentiality. By the way, it's the first spiritual law of Deepak Chopra's 7 spiritual laws. See, he says, in our essential state, we are pure consciousness. Now, what we say here at the Stages of Love is we say who you really are. In your essential state, you are pure love and life energy. This, my friends, is the field of potentiality. Now, number 2, reducing contractions. A contraction is a narrowing, a shrinking, a constricting, if you will, of the space inside of what's otherwise unlimited consciousness. So contractions within the field of potentiality are caused by points of view. Well, it's caused by a number of things, but one thing that it's caused by is comparisons. See, when I'm comparing now to another past now, I'm causing a contraction in the space, a drop in creativity. Now, come on back, everybody. I know sometimes when you're on a phone, it's easy to get distracted. The call's relatively short, but it's full of valuable, meaty information. So get present to how you compare now to other points in your life. I'm comparing a now to a past now. And then try this on. Whenever I'm comparing me, that is, you compare yourself to other people, again, you're causing a contraction. Less true self-expression. Less of who I really am. And in this reality, what's happening is you're seeking approval from other people. And their approval, if you get it, will give you moments of perceived power. But it isn't real. That power isn't real, because as soon as the approval is missing, you become powerless. See, the behavior is always in anticipation of a response. Therefore, fear-based. And we call it a contraction. So there's the field of potentiality, which is your true self. Then dropping comparisons, and then being here now. So the field of potentiality is your true self, and the more you come from the experience and awareness of that self, and again, dropping your comparisons and being here now, the closer you are to expressing and living your life purpose. So how do we do that? What's the direct access to that? Well, I'm going to give you 3 accesses. So number 1, to access the field of potentiality is through meditation, the practice of silence, simply being. Now, we offer an awakening meditation that I recommend for 20 minutes. And at the end of this call, I'm going to go through that exercise. However, it only takes us 3 to 4 minutes. Okay, I'm not going to do the full 20 minutes on the call. I just want to give it to you so you have it. And in the beginning, as you meditate, you'll notice that your mind gets turbulent. But eventually, if you stay with it, your mind starts to quiet down, and that's when it becomes profound, because there's a moment where your mind gives up. And that is cool. Number 2 is practicing non-judgment. When you're constantly analyzing, evaluating, classifying, labeling, you restrict the flow of energy. See, it's the habit of the mind. If you and I haven't fully accepted the anger, the hurt, the rigidity that we carry within our own hearts, then we seek it out in others and we blame them or judge those qualities that we see. You can walk into a room filled with 100 people, and something unconscious will scan that room, and it's like casting out a lasso to the one person there who can reflect back to you the things you couldn't see or be with in any other way. Now, usually, we leave that quality out there in the crowd, projecting our own disowned ghost onto other people and situations. Are you with me? You know, we judge another person as lazy or rigid or cold or closed only because we don't want to see those tendencies in ourselves. So it's in this way that you and I create division. We create separation between a you and a me, and us and a them. On the other hand, try this on. If we can feel the judgment and immediately call it back, we can turn it into an opportunity to pass through a small process of growth. And it's with these 3 simple words. Just like me. So here's the game. Between now and next month, judge all you want. Be a judgment machine. I don't even want you to try to not judge. The only prerequisite is that if you judge, good or bad, at the tail end of the judgment, you add, just like me. And just like me will transform judgment to self-acceptance. Practice this as often as you can. You can do it silently, or you can do it out loud, but either way, there will come a time when you'll start to laugh at what you thought previously was so serious. And then you'll start to celebrate the areas of yourself that have been hidden away by your own judgments. So it goes like this. You're on the freeway, you think somebody's an idiot, and you say, daggone it, you are such an idiot. Just like me. I don't care what connections happen after the just like me. I trust you and your mind in the matter that this practice will knock your socks off. And then we move in to number 3. And number 3 is communion with nature. You know, a stream, a forest, a mountain, a lake, a seashore, anything that logically connects you with nature and nature's intelligence will help you access the field of pure potentiality. Now, as you gain more connection to the field, you will start to notice yourself being more creative, naturally. And as you're more creative, and the field opens up more for you, you'll start to see and experience more possibility. And as you know, creativity and possibility is your direct access to having life be complete satisfaction. So now I'm going to take you through the awakening exercise. So that leaves you with 2 things to practice this month. One is just like me. The other is the awakening exercise. I'm asking you to do this on a daily basis. Take at least 20 minutes to sit silently with your eyes closed. Now, at the beginning of this exercise, simply observe your breathing. Observe how deep or how shallow your breathing is. Don't try to change it. Just notice how it is. And just be with your breathing. The beautiful thing about bringing focus to the breath is that breath is always right now. So it keeps you from moving to other moments because the breath is always happening in this moment. So as you're noticing your breathing, do that now. Just notice how deep or how shallow it is for no other reason but to notice it. Don't try to change it. Very good. Stay with that. And now you're going to ask yourself some questions. And Jean, these are not trick questions. However, to try too hard to answer them will get you stuck in thought. And I don't want you stuck in thought. I want you stuck in being. The question is, who or what is experiencing this moment? Just be with that question. Who or what is aware of the breath? Who or what is aware of the thoughts? And who is aware of the physical sensation? Now, this is all you're going to do during the meditation. focusing on your breath and being with each question over and over. And at the beginning, you're going to notice other thoughts rushing in. And there's going to be thoughts rushing in to try to answer the questions. But it's very easy to step back simply by noticing those as thoughts. And then just ask, who's aware of that thought? Pretty soon, it only takes a few minutes, you'll begin to notice just the faintest scent of stillness and peace, a feeling of boundaries dropping away. And as soon as you begin to notice just the faintest hint of that, take a breath and relax fully into being that, into being it, and keep asking the questions. Who am I? Who is here? Who is present? Who is aware? Who or what is experiencing this moment? Now, if you will put the discipline in to do this every day, I say at least 20 minutes. But listen, if all I can get out of you is 10, then do 10. But something magical will happen. So between now and our next call, I'm requesting that you take this on. And our next call is in January. And it's we always do the third Thursday of the month. So in January, the call is on January 21st. I'm going to now open the line, allow you to share anything to complete the call. Uh-oh. No?
You are now unmuted.
Okay. Sorry, I must not have hit it right the first time. So the phones are unmuted. Is there anybody who'd like to share anything to complete tonight's call?
Jean,
Yes, Jean.
I just wanted to acknowledge that, I put something in the space that was not in the
Well,
typical, what we've done yet. So I just...
not a problem, Jean. Please don't worry about that. And I very clearly said everything's welcome on the call. And that was welcome on the call, too. So please, don't you even sweat it. Thanks for acknowledging it, but I promise you, not a problem at all.
And I just love all of this. I love it.
Yes. Thank you.
Really
Me too.
It. Yeah.
And thank you for being on the call tonight. Anybody else before we complete? Very good. With that, I say happy holidays, happy New Year. Have a wonderful time doing whatever you do, and I will talk to you on January 21st. Good night.
Thomas. Good night.
Good night, Tom.
Good night.